Bubber, you come in here. May Searle stood angrily on the porch. You get in here. Now May Searle is Bubber's mother, who is scolding him that you are so late, Bubber. Now come in and you get in here and sit down at the table. Now he'll get a good scolding from his mother. Bubber Searle is going to get a good scolding from his mother. Now from these lines we also get to know that Bubber's mother is also worried about where he is going and when he is coming. Bubber came slowly up onto the porch. Why is he coming slowly? Because his life energy has been drained out for that very moment when that old lady experienced the transformation. There was this swapping of energies between the two because of the proximity. He was standing and reading out that geography chapter aloud. So he was standing at a bit of distance from that old lady. There was a kind of proximity, but the only obstruction was that table and the chair. But they were a bit close to each other. So that swapping of energies took place, that transformation also took place. So now Bubber is also tired because the entire life force, youthfulness and vitality, that energy has also been drained away from his body for that moment. Now he is very tired. He's pushing inside the house. What's the matter with you? She caught his arm. Bubber Searle's mother, May Searle, caught his arm. Where you been? Where were you? They are also, his parents are also worried about him. Are you sick now? She's inquiring about his health. Why does this boy look very tired? He looks dull. He looks weak. He looks very weak physically. And Bubber said that I am tired. Bubber rubbed his forehead. Again, I already told you that the energies have been transferred between the two. Energy was drained away from the boy and transferred to Mrs. Drew for that particular moment. That is why he is experiencing this. His father came through the living room with the newspapers in his undershirt. What's the matter? He said. Look at him, May Searle said. His mother said. She's also suspicious what happened to this boy, why he is so tired, all worn out. What you been doing, Bubber? He's been visiting that old lady, Ralph Searle said. Now Ralph is Bubber Searle's father. Now he is suspicious that this young boy, his boy Bubber, Bernard Bubber Searle, he is visiting that old lady who is very strange. They might have also heard strange stories about this antisocial very old lady who meets very few people. So they also might have heard stories about this strange, very old lady. Then this Ralph Searle said, can't you tell that Bubber, please tell me what happened to you? He's always washed out after he's been visiting her. They also noticed some kind of transformation and change in this young boy, that whenever he comes home after visiting this very old woman, he's always washed out. He's very tired. He looks very tired. What do you go there for, Bubber? What goes on? She gives him cookies, May said. So his mother said that she gives him cookies to have. You know how he is about things to eat. So Bubber, from these lines we get to know that this little young boy Bubber, he is fond of eating. That's why he's so chubby. He'd do anything for a plate of cookies. So look at his temptations and desires. He can do anything for a plate of cookies. Bub, his father said, listen to me. I don't want you hanging around that crazy old lady anymore. Do not go close to that old lady's house again. He's sort of giving a warning to Bubber that you're not allowed to go and visit that old strange lady again, because he is also suspicious of this old lady, that whenever their young boy returns after having cookies from this old lady, he seems washed up. He seems very tired physically. So now, do you hear me? His father said, I don't care how many cookies she gives you. You come home too tired. Why are you so tired physically? No more of that. You hear me? That you're not going to visit that old strange lady again. Do you hear that? Because this man, this Ralph Searle, is also suspicious about this old lady, Mrs. Drew. Bubber looked down at the floor. Leaning against the wall, his heart beat heavily, labored, because he is extremely exhausted after that transformative experience. But he, as an innocent boy, did not know what has happened to him. But he is now feeling exhausted. Now he is breathing heavily, he is exhausted. He is fatigued by that experience, but he doesn't know as an innocent boy what happened, what supernatural process took place. I told her I'd come back. He muttered. He muttered. He is not able to speak also. Now he is even muttering. He's so exhausted that he is now saying, I told her I'd come back to her. I'll visit her again. You can go once more now. Look at her, look at his mother, look at Bubba Searle's mother. She's saying that you can go once more only. This is the last warning. You are allowed to go, but only once. May said, going into the dining room, but his father is very stern in his instruction. But on the other hand, his mother is a bit lenient, so he gives him last chance that you can visit her, but only once more. You're not allowed to visit her again after this one more visit. Tell her you won't be able to come back again, though. You make sure you tell her nice. Now go upstairs and get washed up. Now she asks Bubba to say these things very politely, that you are not going to visit her again. So this is the last time you are visiting her. Go and tell this to her nicely and politely. After dinner, better have him lie down, his father said. Ralph said, it's better for him to take rest. He seems very tired and exhausted. Ralph said, looking up the stairs, watching Bubba climb very slowly. So he's climbing the stairs very slowly, like that old, physically weak old woman. His hand on the banister, his one hand was on the railing, because he was exhausted and tired. He shook his head. I don't like it, he murmured. His father said, I don't like it. I don't want him going there anymore. There's something strange about that old lady. So his father is already suspicious about that old lady. He has already sensed the energy that whenever Babur comes back to the house, to their home, after having those cookies, he's very tired, he's very exhausted. So he is very suspicious of that strange old lady. Well, it will be the last time, May said. So Baba's mother now said that, well, I said that it will be the last time, and again he is not going to visit her. Besides his warning, the mother insists on giving a last chance to this young boy, Babar. Wednesday was warm and sunny. Now again, the atmosphere setup is very important. Note down the day. It was Wednesday, and the day was very warm. It was sunny. Babar strode along, his hands in his pockets. He stopped in front of McQueen's drugstore for a minute, looking speculatively at the comic books. At the soda fountain, a woman was drinking a big chocolate soda. The sight of it made Babar's mouth water. That settled it. So this very sight of a woman drinking a big chocolate soda, it kind of reminded him of those cookies that he used to have in the strange old lady's house. So this image of a woman drinking big chocolate soda reminded him of cookies, which he always desires to have, because he likes having cookies. He's fond of cookies, he's fond of eating also. So this is the reason why he's fully figured, he's plumpy. He turned and continued on his way, even increasing his pace a little, because he wants, look at the intensity with which he wants to have all the cookies. This is the reason why he is increasing his pace. This also signifies, this tells us his love for cookies, his desire, his greed for cookies also. Again, a few minutes later, he came up on the grey sagging porch and rang the bell of that old strange lady's house. Below him, the weeds blew and rustled with the wind. These lines, these onomatopoeia, and these sounds, these audio visual images that the writer is kind of creating in these lines are very important. This atmosphere setup, atmosphere build up, how it helped in creating the plot, how it helped in creating the storyline. These lines are very important, these sounds especially. Below him, the weeds blew and rustled with the wind. It was almost 4 o'clock. He could not stay too long, but then it was the last time, anyhow, because his mother has already given him the last chance that this is the last time you are going to visit this old strange lady, and tell her nicely, tell her politely that now again, you will not be visiting this lady. So look at the supernatural atmosphere that is around. These lines are very important. Look at the atmosphere built up. These lines, the supernatural and ominous background that is foreshadowing, that is also signaling that something bad, something ominous is going to happen, some unforeseen situation is going to take place. All right, the door opened. Mrs. Drew's wrinkled face broke into smiles because she saw this Bubba Searle again, because he's on the door. He's now on the door, maybe for the cookies. She knows that that Bubba Searle wants to have some cookies again, and now she has got the opportunity to drain out the life force out of him, to feel that youthfulness and youngness again, that vitality and warmth inside her cold body. So she is happy to see this young boy again. That is why she broke into smiles. Come in, Bernard. It's good to see you standing there. It makes me feel so young again to have you come visit again. She's got the opportunity to feel that ecstatic energy of this young boy again, who is very innocent. And the very arrival of that boy has kind of given her that youthfulness and energy again, that she's now saying that it's so, I feel so young again to have you come visit. He went inside looking around. I'll start the cookies. I'll start baking the cookies for you again. I didn't know if you were coming. She padded into the kitchen. She walked quickly into the kitchen. I'll get them started right away. You sit down on the couch. So there is one more time that she can spend now. She has got that opportunity to spend some more time with the boy now. Bubba went over and sat down. He noticed that the table and lamp were gone. These lines are very important, very, very important lines. So this old lady, who is very strange, who is vampiric, she has rearranged the furniture because she wants no obstacle between the two of them. Because I have already told you that the more the closeness, the more energy is transferred. Alright, so this is the reason why she has removed the furniture, the table and the chair from between. He was looking at the chair in perplexity, in confusion, when Mrs. Drew came rustling back into the room. Again, these sounds rustling back, these sounds are also important. Now, moving further, they are in the oven. I had the batter already now. Now, she sat down in the chair with a sigh because she was an old lady, very fatigued. She was physically very weak, so she sat down on the chair like a old woman does with a sigh. Well, how did it go today? How was school? Babur, in reply, said it was fine. She nodded. How plump he was. Now she is kind of desperate about the youth, and her heart is desiring the youth that is that is seen in this boy, that is very observant in this boy. She again wants to have, she again wants to drive his life force. She wants to experience the warmth of youthfulness again. So look at the way she's noticing him again, how plump he was. The little boy is sitting just a little distance from her. Now she has already removed that obstacle from between, so that the closeness is maintained, the proximity is maintained, because it is easier for her to again experience that ecstatic energy and transformation. His cheeks, now look at the way she's observing. His cheeks red and full. She could touch him. He was so close. She wants to feel, she's desiring that youth again in her. Her aged heart thumped. Ah, to be young again, these lines are very important. Youth was so much. It was everything. What did the world mean to the old? Now, children, when we read these lines, that her aged heart thumped. So, this particular old woman, she is so desperate about the youth that it has become her heart's desire to be young again. From these lines, we get to know that it is her heart's desire to be young again. She is yearning for youth. She is longing for youthfulness. She is all occupied with the idea of youth and beauty, because she could not digest the fact that she has grown so old. When she looks at herself in the mirror, she is disappointed seeing her wrinkled face. Do you want to read to me, Bernard? She asked presently. I didn't bring any books. I didn't bring any books. Oh, she nodded. Well, I have some books, she said quickly. I'll get them. So she wants Bubber to wait here for a long period of time. As we all know that what is her motive. She wants to experience the youth again. So that is why she wants him to wait for a prolonged period of time. That will allow that supernatural activity to take place. She got up, crossing to the bookcase. As she opened the doors, Bubber said, Mrs. Drew, my father says I can't come here anymore. He says this is the last time. I thought I'd tell you. So being an innocent kid, we know that his father, Ralph Searle, he warned him that tell her that you are not going to visit her again. His mother also gave him a last warning that tell that old lady politely that you are not going to visit her again. So he, being an innocent kid, he tells each and everything to Mrs. Drew. He doesn't know that someone else can even take advantage of him. So now she stopped, standing rigid. Everything seemed to leap around her, the room twisting furiously. Now this very old strange lady is feeling dizzy after hearing that Bubber is not going to visit her again. He has got a last chance and he has told this Mrs. Drew that I will not be visiting you from the next time. This is the last time that I am visiting you. These words make her a bit dizzy. Why? Because she wants to feel the warmth inside her cold body, the warmth of the youth that she has experienced earlier. Now this is the last time that he is coming, so she is a bit dizzy and she cannot digest the fact that this is the last time that he is coming to her house. And she took a harsh, frightened breath. She is now very frightened, scared that he'll not be visiting her again. Bernard, you're not coming back. No, my father says not to. This Mrs. Drew, she doesn't want this moment to go away. She actually wants to feel that energy again, and now he's saying that he won't be coming here again. She doesn't want to miss that opportunity. So this makes her frightened. There was silence. These lines are also important. The old lady took a book at random and came slowly back to her chair. After a while, she passed the book to him, her hands trembling. Why her hands were trembling? Because she was not able to digest this fact that he is visiting her for the very last time, that his parents have asked him not to visit her again. And it is only by this means that she can experience, by the means of Baba, that she is able to experience youth energy again. Alright? Please read, Bernard, please. The boy took it without expression, looking at its cover, because it is a very mundane and boring task for this boy also, because all his focus is on the cookies. His greed is cookies. Cookies are an element of desire for this young boy. Please read, Bernard, please. All right, he opened the book. Well, where shall I start? Anywhere. Because she doesn't want to think of anything now. Bernard, anywhere, Bernard. He began to read. It was something by Trollope, Anthony Trollope. She only half heard the words because she was frightened. She was scared by the thought that her hands were even trembling, that she could not digest that this was the last time he was visiting her. She put her hand to her forehead, the dry skin brittle and thin, like old paper. She trembled with anguish, with mental pain. Anguish here would mean mental pain. The last time, she cannot digest the fact that she's thinking this again and she's overthinking. She's actually stuck in that loop of overthinking that this is the last time this boy is coming and she's the one who wants to experience youth again. So what will she do if he will not come to visit her again? Baba read on, slowly, monotonously, in a boring, dull manner. Against the window a fly buzzed. Outside the sun began to set, the air turning cool. Now the entire ambience of the atmosphere is also changing. Look at the atmosphere. A few clouds came up and the wind in the trees rushed furiously. Now look at the weather conditions. Look at the climate. This is also very important. The atmosphere that is set up now in these lines, from these lines the atmosphere is set up. These lines are also very important. The old lady sat close. These lines, they signal that something bad, ominous and unforeseen situation is going to take place. The old lady sat close by the boy, closer than ever, because today itself she wants to experience the warmth of youthfulness. This is the reason why she is sitting closer to the boy, in fact very closer. Hearing him read, the sound of his voice, sensing him close by. Was this really the last time? Was this really the last time that he is visiting? Terror rose up in her heart and she pushed it back. Why did she push the terror back? Because she is actually kind of trying to avoid the fear. Because here now she wants to absorb the energy permanently and completely now. So now let's see what will happen to Babur. Because this is the very last time that Babur is visiting her. Now this is the reason why terror rose up. She is thinking of this particular thing again and again, that he'll not be visiting her. And now she wants to permanently she wants youth in her. She wants to experience youth permanently. The last time again she is thinking. She gazed at him, the boy sitting so close to her. These lines are really very important. This closeness, this proximity is quite important, as I have already told you earlier. After a time, she reached out her thin, dry hand. She took a deep breath. He would never be back. There would be no more times. What was her reaction when he told her that he won't be visiting her again? All this is her reaction. This is also important. They can ask you in the examination. There would be no more times. No more. She's again and again stuck in that loop of overthinking. This was the last time he would sit here. What she did, she touched his arm. So now the energy flows into her body directly because she has touched his arm. Earlier they were sitting in she was sitting in proximity to him, but now she's sitting very close to this boy. There is no table and a lamp that was placed between them. Now she has touched his arm. She wants to experience the energy and vitality within her permanently. Earlier it was temporary, but now she touches his Baba Searle's arm to experience the beauty of youth permanently. So this is the permanent thing that is going to happen. Now finally Babar looked up when she touched his arm. He says, "What is it?" he murmured. Then she says, "You don't mind if I touch your arm, do you?" "No, I guess," Babar said. "No, I guess not." He went on reading. The old lady could feel the youngness of him flowing between her fingers because he touched his arm, through her arm. A pulsating, vibrating youngness so close to her. So these lines are very important. It had never been that close. Again, very important. Why it had never been that close? Because earlier the table and the lamp was placed between them. It acted as an obstruction. So she could not completely and permanently experience the youth in that case. But now see what happens. A pulsating, vibrating youngness so close to her. It had never been that close, where she could actually touch it. The feel of life made her dizzy and unsteady. She could not absorb this energy completely. It was becoming uncontrollable for her to completely absorb this energy because it was very direct. It was ever flowing because she was also sitting next to him, very close to him, and she also touched his arm. So this is the reason that the energy is becoming so uncontrollable. It is thriving, it is multiplying. So she could feel the vitality flowing in her, the energy flowing in her, because she was sitting in proximity. And presently it began to happen as before, as it happened earlier. But this time it was so much in amount. She closed her eyes, letting it move over her, filling her up, carried into her by the sound of the voice and the feel of the arm. The change, the flow was coming over her. The warm, rising feeling. She could feel that energy. All right? She was blooming again. She was again becoming young, a woman of 30, 30-year-old woman, very attractive, beautiful, full of energy, vitality, filling with life, swelling into richness as she had been once long ago when she was 30 years old. But now she was a very old woman, very physically weak she was, with wrinkled face. But now through this experience, she has become so beautiful, so attractive. Now she looked down at her arms. Rounded they were, and the nails very clear. Her hair black again, heavy and black against her neck. She touched her cheek. The wrinkles had gone. The skin pliant and soft. So now the transformation of lady is going on. In these lines we could see that she's becoming attractive. She's blooming with energy. She's blooming with beauty. She's blooming with youth, with energy, with vitality, vivaciousness. These lines are very important. Her transformation is very important. Joy filled her, a growing, bursting joy. She stared around her at the room. She smiled. She could see herself transforming. She smiled, feeling her firm teeth and gums, red lips, strong white teeth. Suddenly she got to her feet, her body secure and confident. She could feel that confidence within her, that she couldn't feel because of her old age. But now, as she is a woman of 30, she thinks she could do everything in her life. She can do everything all over again. She turned a little lithe. Lithe means in a very graceful manner. She turned a bit, took a quick circle and looked at herself. She was so confident, so graceful about her youth and beauty now that she has gained through that boy, Bubba Searle, because of that supernatural manner in which she swapped the energies. Now she has fully gained energy. She is very joyful. She is confident about herself because she has grown very young. Bubber stopped reading. "Are the cookies ready?" he said. "I'll see." Her voice was alive, deep, with a quality that had dried out many years before. Because now we know that she has grown old. Now it was there again, her voice throaty and sensual. See, look at her voice. It has also changed. It has also transformed. She walked quickly to the kitchen and opened the oven. Now she is able to walk quickly. Earlier she used to rustle past him and then go inside the kitchen. She took out the cookies and put them on top of the stove. "Already," she said happily, gaily she said. "Come and get them." Bubber came past her, his gaze fastened on the sight of the cookies. So this Bubber, he's not even interested in looking at this very old lady who has grown, who has transformed into a young lady with blooming beauty and youth. He's not interested to look at this particular lady, but his entire focus, his concentration is on the cookies that are kind of satisfying his greed. He did not even notice the woman by the door, that the transformation that has occurred. He did not even take a look of her. Mrs. Drew hurried from the kitchen. She went into the bedroom, closing the door after her. Then she turned, gazing into the full-length mirror on the door. She was so surprised. She was so happy that she couldn't believe her eyes that she has grown so young. It was her heart's desire. It was her longing to grow young again. Alright, so this is why she could not contain her heart. She could not contain her happiness. This is why again she is gazing into the full-length mirror on the door. She could see that youthfulness in her, that vitality. She says young, she was young. It is written here, young, she was young again, filled out with the sap of vigorous youth, with the very essence of youth she was filled. She took a deep breath. Her steady bosom was swelling. Her eyes flashed and she smiled. She spun, her skirts flying like those magazine girls, young and lovely. And this time it had not gone away. This time her beauty has become permanent. Her vitality, her energy, that warmth, her vivaciousness, it has become permanent. It has not gone away. Alright, she actually doesn't want her beauty to go away. She doesn't want it to fade away. She's so happy. She opened the door. Bubber had filled his mouth. Again, he's trying to satisfy his greed, his temptations of having these cookies. And he filled his pockets and mouth again. He was standing in the center of the living room, his face fat and dull, a dead white. Now look at the face of Bubber. It has gone pale. Now we can draw the conclusion that the boy has changed. Some kind of transformation has occurred in this boy also, as he, Bubber Searle, looks very pale, white, dead white. So all his life force has been drained away by this strange old lady. Alright, what's the matter? Mrs. Drew said. Then Bubber says, "I'm going," because his work is done. He says, "Now I'm going." He's filled his mouth with cookies. Now he's going. "All right, Bernard, and thanks for coming to read me." She laid her hand on his shoulder. Again, she laid her hand on his shoulder. "Perhaps I'll see you again." Now she doesn't want even to meet this boy again. Her work is done. Now she is very happy. She has gone young now. She's like a 30-year-old woman looking at herself into the mirror, and now she's very happy looking at herself because all her wrinkles have disappeared, her face has filtered out, she has got strong teeth, white teeth, and she's looking at herself like those magazine girls look. Her skirt is also flying, she's spinning around. All right, Bernard. And thanks for coming to read to me. She laid her hand on his shoulder. Perhaps I'll see you again sometime. My father, again he is trying to say something. Babar is again trying to say something. My father said that I'll not be coming. He is an innocent kid. So again, when she says that, okay, I'll see you, perhaps I'll see you again sometime, then he says that, okay, my father has said not to visit you. I know, she laughed gaily because she was in her own, she was on cloud 9 because she has become so young, so youthful. She laughed gaily. She's all immersed in the beauty of her youth. Opening the door for him. Goodbye, Bernard, goodbye. Now she doesn't even want to look at this boy because her work is done. She has got what she wanted. She has got her heart's desire fulfilled. She watched him go slowly down the steps. Now the boy has also become weak, as earlier he had become weak. So again he has become so weak. So he's going slowly down the steps one at a time. Then she closed the door and skipped back into the bedroom. She unfastened her dress and stepped out of it. The worn grey fabric suddenly distasteful to her because this color grey kind of reflects depression. This kind of gives a very pale look in front of her blooming youth. This is why she unfastened it. She actually removed this color and she stepped out of it. The worn grey fabric suddenly becomes distasteful to her because these beautiful vibrant colors will look beautiful on her now because of her blooming youth. For a brief second she gazed at her full rounded body, plumpy body, which old age has taken away from her. Her hands on her hips. She laughed with excitement. Again and again she's looking at herself into the mirror. Turning a little her eyes bright. She's looking at herself now again. What a wonderful body, bursting with life, with vitality, a swelling breast. She touched herself. The flesh was firm because now she has grown young. Now she has gone young. She's a 30-year-old woman. There was so many things to do. She gazed about her, breathing quickly. So many things. She started the water running in the bathtub and then went to tie her hair up. So maybe these lines suggest that maybe she did not achieve much in her youth, so which makes her crave for this beauty and youth again. Maybe she couldn't do much. She couldn't achieve something in her while she was young, that now she's craving for it. Now she's greedy for this youth, that she's actually using such means like supernatural activities to fulfill this desire of being young again. The wind blew. Now this atmosphere is again very important. Very, very important. The wind blew around him as he trudged home. Trudged here would mean he's walking very slow. Very slowly he's walking with heavy and slow step. He has grown so weak and fragile, like that strange old lady. It was late. The sun had set. I told you it was Wednesday. The day was Wednesday, and the weather in the afternoon, it was very warm and sunny, but now the wind is blowing. Look at the change of the atmosphere. The atmosphere set up in this particular short story is very important. It will be asked in your examination, as this particular thing was also asked in your 2025, I think 2025-2026 examination. So chances are that again these kinds of questions can be formed from this chapter. The wind blew around him as he trudged home. He has become very weak. It was late, the sun had set, and the sky overhead was dark and cloudy. Look at the atmosphere set up. Look at the images that Philip K.Dick is drawing in these lines. The wind that blew and nudged against him was cold. Even the wind now is very cold, like that old lady. It kind of nudged against him, it touched him, and it penetrated through his clothing, chilling him. The wind is so cold that it penetrated through him. He has grown weak. He has grown physically very weak, like that old lady. So that wind is penetrating into his bones through his clothing, and it is chilling him. The boy felt tired. His head ached because of the transference of energies, because of the transversal of the energy. He is feeling this because his entire life force has been drained out of him. Boy felt tired, his head ached, and he stopped every few minutes, rubbing his forehead and resting his heart, laboring. He left Elm Street and went up Pine Street. The wind screeched around him, pushing him from side to side. The wind was very unpleasant. The atmosphere around him was very unpleasant, suggesting something ominous or bad or some unforeseen situation is going to take place. Look at the foreshadowing that is taking place. And this wind is pushing him from side to side. He couldn't even stand properly in this wind. He shook his head, trying to clear it. How weary he was. Screech is like a loud, high sound that the wind is making. How weary he was. How tired his arms and legs were. He felt the wind hampering at him, pushing and plucking at him. So he felt like the wind was hammering at him. The wind was hitting at him continuously. It was making him impossible to walk. He could not walk because of this furiosity of wind, which was pushing and plucking at him. It was pushing and plucking at him like those old weeds, like those unwanted weeds. This wind was also plucking and pushing at him. He could not walk. He was almost feeling like a very old, very fragile kind of person because of that energy that is drained out from his body. The wind was very chilly. It was piercing. For an old person, it was very piercing. It was chilly. He took a breath and went on, his head down. At the corner, he stopped, holding on to a lamp post. Now he even needs support. He could not walk on his own. The sky was quite dark. The street lights were beginning to come on. Now it is night now. It is now night time. At last he went on, walking as best he could. Where is that boy? May Searle said, going out on the porch for the 10th time. Ralph flicked on the light and they stood together. What an awful wind. The weather is very harsh. So they could also sense that maybe the weather is actually signaling that something bad is going to happen. His parents are also worried about him. Next line, the wind whistled and lashed at the porch. Now look at the sounds that this wind is making. The two of them looked up and down the dark street, but they could see nothing but a few newspapers and trash being blown along. Wind, even the weather, even the wind outside, it is very eerie, it is very awful, it is very strange, it is very, very harsh. So look at that atmosphere, children. Look at the audio visual imagery that this writer is trying to create. He's trying to create a very kind of a gripping horror. He wants to captivate the readers so that they are there till the end. They read till the end. Let's go inside, Ralph said. He sure is going to get a licking when he gets home. He's sure to get a beating when he gets back. They sat down at the dinner table. Presently, May put down her fork. Listen, do you hear something? Then May, because there is some kind of intuition that is present inside the mother. May is Baba's mother. So there is a kind of sixth sense. She could feel something. She could sense something. Did you listen? Do you hear something? She said. Ralph listened. Outside against the front door, there was a faint sound. A tapping sound. There was a faint knocking at the front door. He stood up. The wind howled outside. It was as if someone was knocking outside at the door. Who was knocking? Who knows? Maybe it's Baba. Blowing the shades, blowing the lights in the room. The lights in the room were also flickering. Look at the horror that he's kind of creating in these lines. Again, very important. I'll go see what it is, he said. Ralph said this. Now he went to the doorbell and opened it. Something grey. Ralph opened the door. Something grey and dry was blowing up against the porch, carried by the wind. He stared at it, but he could not make it out what it really was. It was a giant bundle of weeds, weeds in ranks, blown by the wind perhaps. Now, children, the bundle bounced against his legs. He watched it drift past him against the wall of the house. It was as if this bundle of weeds, this rag, was trying to enter inside the house. What was bouncing against his leg was actually Babur, who is reduced to bundle of weeds and rags like that old lady who was compared to the unwanted weeds that were grown outside her house, that needs to be removed. So now he has become trash because of that energy, life force that was drawn out of this boy, because all the energy and life force was transferred to that old lady who has become young now, who is very youthful, who is very full of vitality and enthusiasm, full of warmth. So this little poor boy, he has become a trash, mere bundle of weeds and trash. His parents are not able to recognize him. Alright, so he's trying to enter inside the house. What kind of story is this? It's horrific. The bundle bounced against his leg. He watched it drift past him against the wall of the house. Then he closed the door again slowly. We all know that this is the end. His life has ended. Babur's life has ended. He has been reduced to a bundle of trash, to a bundle of weeds which are unwanted, which no one needs. So this is the condition of Babur. The young boy, he has turned into a bundle of weeds and rags. What was it? May said. Then Ralph Searle said, just the wind. Now this is the end of the story. Through these lines, we look at the distinct writing style of this author, Philip K.Dick, how easily he writes. So he writes clearly and he writes very plainly. And he is a master of realistic dialogue. Beneath the impression of plainness and superficial normality, there is a strong suggestiveness which forebodes ominous, disastrous, and inexplicable happening. He follows a cool, sensible style in these lines to present horrifying alienations in a way with which even the sanest reader can sympathize. Look at the style that he has adopted, which is very plain. The style that he has adopted is very plain and straight. What he does, the transformation of Mrs. Drew is described very lyrically. There are paragraphs written on the transformation of Mrs. Drew. In the same way, the boy is getting thin and weak, physically weak, like a paper, like bundle of weeds, is also described very casually by the author. It is described in a very cool manner by the author, very plain, very straightforward. It is described so casually, as if nothing untoward had happened, as if nothing wrong had happened at the end. All this makes the grimness of situation superficially light. Although this is something very serious and horrific, it is very terrible to look at, something very ominous, it is disastrous, it is catastrophic. What has happened at the end, it is inexplicable. We don't know what has happened, but he writes in a very cool, casual manner that everything becomes very lightened. It is like this is there, this will happen, as if nothing untoward had happened. All this makes the grimness of the situation superficially light. but the tragedy that is lying underneath is too big to realize that Babur itself, this young boy, has been reduced to bundle of weeds and rags and just litter. Now look at these lines in your workbook. In this story, the young boy, at the touch of the strange old lady, has been shown to be deprived of all youthfulness that now has been transferred in the body of the strange lady. How exquisitely Babur's getting reduced into a trash, being blown by the winds, had been suggested. Very casually, this writer has described these lines. The effect of the other powers is evident in the boy losing his being and just becoming a thing. Just a few newspapers and trash being blown along. The story ends with the brief conversation between father and mother of the boy. What was it? May said. May called. Just the wind. Ralph Searle said. Now look at this character sketch of Mrs. Drew and Babur. They are sketched very beautifully by the author. Mrs. Drew seems to be very strange. She is an old lady. She is selfish and enchanting, like a sorceress, like a wicked witch, drawing out Babur's youth and life and energy out of him. Babur is very obese. He's a fat boy. He is very chubby. Babur is obese, glutton, but innocent. Because he tells each and everything to Mrs. Drew that from now onwards, from next time I won't be coming, I won't be visiting you anymore. He tells each and everything. Such an innocent boy he is. And then both his mother and father, May Searle and Ralph Searle, they have been briefly sketched because their conversations are also in this particular short story. They show very superficial concern for their son, that is Babur Searle. Why? Because had they not given him the last chance, had May Searle not given him the last chance to visit, the reality would have been something else. He would not have been reduced to a bundle of trash in that case. But their concern was also very superficial. But Ralph Searle was somewhere suspicious that about that strange lady, that whenever this boy returns from her house, he is very tired, he is very weak. So they are also not very fully involved in his welfare as well. Look at the setting of this short story. The story is set in a dystopian world of exploitation, selfishness and greediness, as we have seen in the case of this strange old lady. She has no feelings of sympathy. She acts like a wicked witch and draws all his life energy. In this world, this actually teaches us, it is a cautionary tale which teaches us that everyone's only motto is to take advantage of the other without following any ethics or scruples. Here in this story, we find a strange old lady, Mrs. Drew, using the boy for her needs and the boy getting favors for his insatiable hunger for cookies. This story also suggests that there are evil-minded people in this world who will actually exploit the people who are very innocent. Now, in the character sketch of Babur, I found he is a victim of exploitation at the hands of a vicious society, using a person for its own advantage. Babur is thus a typical case of the capitalist setup that steals the youth of the children working for their needs, denied the fulfillment of cravings and the right guidance and affection of parents. The youth can easily fall prey and get trapped by the ruthless people who do not have any scruples and use people to their advantage. Babur goes to Mrs. Drew for cookies, but alas, he pays a heavy price for being exploited and reduced to nothingness. These lines are important. Children, look at the themes that are important in this particular short story. First thing, that it is a horror story. Author does not bring out any specific theme or moral lesson. The author has been successful in creating an atmosphere of horror and suspense, fear and abnormalities. Supernatural elements are also found. He focuses on the interpersonal relationships, which can be interpreted as having good or bad influences on a human being. One thing that can be inferred is that craving for anything can be disastrous. This is the main theme. Craving for anything can be disastrous and unhealthy, as we find in the case of Babur, who cannot resist the temptation of tasty cookies of an old lady. He is already obese, and overeating is going to be harmful to him. Second theme of this particular short story is the exploitation of the one by the other. This is written in your workbook. Babur uses Mrs. Drew to satisfy his needs for cookies. Likewise, Mrs. Drew exploits Babur by using his youth. In a way, she happens to steal away his youthful energy. She appears to be a vampire. Now, she is kind of compared to a vampire, all right, who drives all the life force away from this poor boy, who is reduced to a bundle of trash and weeds. She appears to be a vampire capable of doing inhuman, supernatural, or even superhuman actions. Now, another theme that appears in this short story is that the responsibility of parents in guiding their children. Now, this responsibility of parents is also important. It is also a cautionary tale, as I've already told you. Since both father and mother of the boy have failed to either provide their son his favorite food or curb his cravings, the boy falls into the trap of an unethical lady under the pretext of providing him his favorite cookies, exploits his youth, and sends him back deprived of all youth and energy. Now, children, the atmosphere in this short story is also very important. How it is shown that the atmosphere is very gloomy, it is windy. It suggests some ominous activity and supernatural phenomena is going to take place. Look at the atmosphere, what it is foreshadowing. It is chilly, it is windy, it is very cold, like the condition of the old woman, because she is also deprived of life, vitality, and youth. By this supernatural event, Babur has also turned pale. We know that he is reduced to a bundle of rags and weeds. So he has also gone tired, very weak, frail. His body has become physically very weak. So he also emits all the characteristics of the old lady because of that supernatural event.